Pace, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
*Halt and Catch Fire*. What are you hearing about season 2?
I know everyone involved would like to get another shot to keep working on these characters and figure out, what's next for them. So, we're all very hopeful, but there's no word right now.
Now that Joe has sold his Porsche and confronted his dad, do you feel like he's finally letting go of the past a little bit?
In a way, I think that Joe never looked at the past. He's so focused on the future, he's focused on what's next, what's coming, that he never kind of acknowledged that he's a human with a past. So, it's not that he let go of it. In a way, he was able to be like, oh, that happened, These things with my father actually happened. The stuff at IBM actually happened, and I'm a real person who experienced those things. So I think Joe's journey in this first series is about authenticity. It's about, realizing that he's not a machine, he's a human. And that humanity is actually his value. I'm really proud of this episode, the Comdex episode. It's kind of the real themes of the show emerge in this episode. The thing that was most exciting to me about this time, this character, this industry in 1983 is innovation. And it's something that Joe is, he knows that there's this interesting thing around the corner, and the corner turns at Comdex. He's not just isolated in Dallas, Texas. He is on the floor with a bunch of other people trying to sell machines that are equally as interesting as his, and some that might be more interesting than his.
I get asked all the time from my readers if I could find out if Lee Pace is going to reunite with Bryan Fuller on something, whether it's a Pushing Daisies musical, whether it's you appearing on Hannibal. How optimistic are you that something like that will happen?
I'm very optimistic that something like that would happen. I've, done 2 shows with Bryan Fuller. He's a good friend. We understand each other. I'm inspired by his work. I think he's inspired by mine. I think that it's, very likely that we'll work together, unless one of us decides to give it all up and go live in a cabin up on the top of a mountain. I think it's very, very likely. I mean, I should be so lucky, because I think Bryan is one of the most talented, innovative people I know.
What about Pushing Daisies, whether it be a musical or some kind of revival of that show? Would you be interested in revisiting that character?
Yeah, I like Ned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a real soft spot for Ned. And if I could, team up with Anna Friel and Shai McBride again, and Kristen Chenoweth, it would just be, a very special experience. I miss the show. I miss doing it.
Yeah.
I miss kind of being in that world.
Do you feel like maybe the show was a little bit before its time? A little bit. It's such a special show.
I know. It's nothing really like it. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I look back at that time and I think, what happened? Like, what happened there? What was that? Because it was such a unique experience for all of us, and I know the audience kind of responded to it in such a unique way and continues to kind of discover the show. And so I can't really draw any conclusions about, what happened and what. It was a very special time in my life. I know that.
Any interest in doing more Broadway? You were great in Normal Heart.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for seeing that. I was super proud of being a part of that production. Absolutely. Do you know something? Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to get back to do it.
What are you working on right now? You're done, obviously, shooting *Halt and Catch Fire* for the season. What are you working on now?
Finished with *Guardians*, finished with *The Hobbit*. These things are coming out later this year.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna see what's next, actually.
Do you sort of feel like you're in a holding pattern until you find out what happens with the show?
The truth is, I've worked a lot this past year. I've been living out of a suitcase and just kind of one to the next, to the next, to the next. So this summer, I just kind of said I wanted some time off and, be at home and not put on makeup every day.
Nice.
It's actually been really great. But I'm getting a little itchy trying to figure out what's going to be next, what the next thing is. I don't know. We'll see.
Guest appearance on Hannibal.
Hey, maybe.
Has there been any discussion of that, possibly? I mean, I know obviously Bryan would be
Bryan 2 days ago.
Yeah. Did it come up?
Yeah, of course it came up.
So what's the obstacle?
I'm on another television show.
It's not as easy.
It's not as easy. I love what Bryan is doing with that.
Yeah.
With Hannibal. It's like an indie movie, absolutely cinematic on, a network show, which is kind of awesome. And I know we endeavor to do that with *Halt and Catch Fire*. So I kind of, when I watch his show, I can see what he's working on.
Yeah.
Trying to tell the story visually, trying to do it in a subtle way you know. And it's hard. It's hard in the medium of television, I think, to do that. But the audience is so sophisticated now that they demand it, and demand it in a way that is, it's like a real connoisseurship in a way, you know, that kind of elevates the bar of what TV should be. It's tough. There's a lot of great stuff out there.
Yep, there
you
is.
know, you got to be good.